সম্প্রতি ক্যালকলিংকে দেওয়া এক একান্ত সাক্ষাৎকারে ইন্দো আমেরিকান চেম্বার অফ কমার্সের প্রেসিডেন্ট অশোক লাহা জানালেন, আমেরিকা উন্নত দেশ হলেও ভারত ও চীনের মতো দেশগুলির কাছ থেকে অনেক কিছুই শেখার আছে। সেই সঙ্গে বিশেষ জোর দিলেন ভারতের পর্যটনেও। কথা বললেন ভারত আমেরিকা বাণিজ্যিক সম্পর্ক নিয়েও।
When one talks about more and more Indo-US collaboration, it's often that how you can bring in talents or some positive factors from the US to India. But as we were talking a few minutes ago, we mentioned that bringing together the best of the both worlds.
Yes.
There are good things in India also. So how to export those best part of India to the US?
Yeah.
Have you thought of that or any?
Yeah, I think there are lots of things from India, which can emulate, to we can go to US. I've not, a couple of things strikes me, immediately. The in a family, the desire to succeed. When I grew up, everything study, right? Focus. Now there is a book. I don't know have you read the book or not. It's the battle hymn of a tiger mob. And that became huge controversial. Of course, because it's a controversial, she made lots of money. The book was a bestseller. But she said anything that from Chinese students, anything less than A is unacceptable. You have to always be first in the class. So that desire to succeed, and that's not in US. US basically there's so much TV and everything else. People take it easy. Industry has changed. That's why there are lots of people in US that are unemployable. That's why the unemployment rate is going on. India has got that focus, the huge focus. Because I go to any family, you can see that they are always fighting for the colleges here. They are always studying for the 90% score and everything else, all that stuff. So that you can bring it to US. That desire to succeed. And obviously desire to succeed always comes in from when the immigrant families. When you don't have too much. So you have. That's the only way you can do that. So that's one of the pluses in India also. So ability to work hard. That's why the IT industry has succeeded. And they people think a lot. In US, unfortunately, there are lots of people. I'm not talking about the people who go to MIT or Stanford or Berkeley. I'm not talking about those kids, but lots of people, generally, they want to play football and everything else, but they also spend lots of time in the other activities rather than studies. So they don't read, they don't think, so, and those things are important for your logical development, because as the technology moves to high tech, everything moves to high tech. The jobs, high paid jobs will be high tech area. You need those type of people. And US the government, and they can emulate some of the parts of India. They emulate some part of China. They emulate some part of India. India can offer lots. But question is somebody has to articulate that.
Right.
That whole part of the articulation, and the whole part of it is that US has you have to convince them. In the past, when I grew up, the culture in US was that whole world is between San Francisco and New York. There's nothing to be known outside this San Francisco and New York. Nothing there.
The whole world used to revolve around.
Yeah, I've been in San Francisco and New York. Lots of Americans, they don't have passport. They don't have to go any place. They don't know what to learn. But here everybody has a passport. Almost everybody got a passport. So that desire to travel, and that gives you wide open eyes. Lots of things to do that. But on the other hand, I'm not going to criticize the US industry, because there are people who have got tremendous sense of work ethics, cleanliness, everything else. The roads are very clean because you don't see people They take the paper and they'll carry the paper until they find dustbin. And here they just throw the paper out, you know.
Now
Value.
the Prime Minister has initiated moves like
Yeah.
Swachh Bharat and
Yeah, I know. But, you know, because that's a very positive approach. Hopefully they
better
will do
late
that.
than never.
Better than ever, you know. But, you know, that's a good approach. So I think that US has got lots of pluses there. But they also, I'm sure they are going to learn lots of things from the India, China. Those are two major countries. They have a lots of things to learn.
Have you identified the areas where Indian and US companies can collaborate in a much more meaningful way? The sectors, the areas.
Well, because some of the areas we talked about it, which we addressed in the seminar, you know, seminar was mainly meant to address the areas which are going to collaborate. You know, this skill development, one of the areas was there, e-commerce, one of the areas, defense, service industry, one of the areas, a couple of areas there, and security, cyber security, you know, so certain areas, and that's the whole seminar about. Seminar identified only those topics where there is a areas for collaboration.
We
You know.
facilitate one-on-one dialogue also between two companies from two countries.
Yeah, that we like to do. You know, there are lots of people came in. You know, now as this one become popular, this session popular, you can see more people are going to come in. You know, and we expect that probably next year, we expect more people from the US will come in here to listen to it because they find it interesting to that. So yeah, and the fact the US embassy is helping out. That's the one thing we want to get a US embassy's help, so that US embassy can tell us if they can go and tell the US Chamber of Commerce, small Chamber of Commerce, and everybody else, hey guys, attend this seminar, something like that. Then they'll come. You know, that's why we are, and we are glad that they they let us use the logo, supported by the US commercial. That helped quite a lot. And if you can publicize that quite a lot, then hopefully next year. And if they're willing to sign up right now, we'll help people learn.
Do you think that tourism is also another sector where there is a lot of scope?
Huge scope. Tourism is huge scope. You know, it all leads to the flights, planes, everything else, you know, other stuff. Tourism is a huge scope. You know, lots of Indians, they go to India, US, right? They spend money. We like to put the India on a map so that when the Americans go for a vacation, and they love to go vacation, you know, why they don't come to India? Mass scale. There's so much thing to see that, you know. Only thing people understand, if you go to India, they'll say, the American, they'll see the Taj Mahal. But there's so much, it's a beautiful place to see. Beaches and the, you know, mountains and the Kashmir to the houseboat in the Cochin desert, everything is there, you know.
Forest.
You know, yeah, forest, tigers and everything else, you know. So it's a beautiful place to go there. But, you know, somehow the, you know, tourism, it has to be the, because there are lots of people, people want to spend money. They already signed up, they're going to pay money. Question is, do they go to Bangkok? Or do they go to Africa? You know, now with Ebola coming in, I'm sure that lots of people, they stop thinking of going to Africa, you know, or they'll come here. Beaches, you know, beautiful beaches there. They'll come here. Why not? You know, yeah, India got a huge opportunity there.
So why are we lagging far behind? I mean, we have everything.
Back to my first question is that we don't know how to do the PR. We really don't know how to do the PR. Somehow other, or the people who are running the place, the bureaucrats or the people, the IAS officers, they change their job every 2 years. So before they understand the job, they change it. You know, so that's why that there is no the focused approach to do that. I don't think they got a roadmap how to do it. I don't think it's anybody's. You will get fired or get rewarded if they do the job properly. You know, so I think that's one of the most important things. Plus, you got a bureaucracy, and you have to use the tenders, and who is going to do the PR and everything else. And maybe those things have to change. Bottom line is that you have to have somebody responsible in the government to make it into succeed. And if it's successful, he does it well, he get rewarded. If he doesn't do well, he should be thrown out. You know.
There has to be incentive for
Yeah.
good work and punishment.
But yeah, but that's not there. So that's why it's important to do that, and you should have the people who understand the tourism. There are lots of people there, or you just outsource to private companies. They do it. It's possible to do that. But like in Calcutta, I feel sad, and I'm born here, right? And we are not growing. Huge place to industry should come. But same thing with I look at Mr. Modi. He built the Gujarat. The people in Punjab, they built the Punjab. Why he didn't build the India or Bengal? Such a great school system there, such a great education system there, that the bright people are here. Everything what you need. But Bengalis, they want to stay in Calcutta. And there are lots of Bengalis, they are very successful when they go out of the Calcutta. And they'll have to come back. But yet we are unable to be Bengal. And the only question is that PR job, image job, everything else, somebody is not interested to do it.
So would you also facilitate government to government dialogues?
No. We are too small. We are too small to do that, any of them, Mostly business, B2B. Yeah, because actually the US government doesn't do any business. They don't have money, They don't encourage business, they cannot do that. They create a policy. Policy means just create an environment, So basically what they'll say, yes, it's okay to do a business in India. There is no travel restriction, something like that. But I don't think if they propagate, they'll encourage, they'll give information to people who want to invest money in US, But I don't think they don't matchmake it, they don't do that.
Cyber security is also another area where there is a lot of scope, right?
Huge. Particularly the e-commerce area, that's what scared me. One of the seminars I talked about that, I say, e-commerce is the way to go. It will happen. My daughter always buys on online, I don't buy online, because I just have to go to the store, except Apple. I believe that they are the secure site. Most of the places I just want to go to the store, buy it only because of the fact that I'm not pretty sure that my credit card will be safe. No, and so those are some of the things, So cybersecurity is one of the most important things. As you go along, as the new technology coming in, as you're doing that, the hackers have become more smarter and smarter. So they find ways to hack it, So cybersecurity is one of the biggest things, because lots of things are happening today on a internet, telephone, everything else. So, other than the government snooping on, but how difficult it is for anybody to snoop around somebody else's bank account or personal life. People store data in their computers. Or I can, it's the most important, should I have access to somebody else telephone calls, whom they are making it. So cyber security is one of the big things, Particularly here, most of the people have mobile. Lots of mobiles are here.
Mobile penetration is increasing.
Yeah.
Would research and development be another area which you would look at? Promoting or
R&D will be there, but I think we cannot do that because of the fact that that part government will spend time money on it. Today, you see, India still today will not be able to develop products the way US develop products as a whole, because that culture, unless you put a huge, your IPR is strong, intellectual property is strong, very, and you can throw people in jail if you try to do that. Then people will be reluctant to develop a new product. Why I'm going to spend 2 years and spend $10 million to develop a product only to find out, my competition within 6 months just copied the whole thing and developed it blindly. So unless the IPR is strong and everything, and the codes are very, and that's acceptable, that's acceptable, then I don't think product will be developed here. But there's a huge opportunity. There are, think of the number of people, the demography. There's so much people, $1.2 million people, how much, 250 or 300 million people are the middle class. Somebody told me 60% people are below 35. Such a huge population, huge opportunities there, So product development, you don't have to, you can do lots of product development if somebody think that way, that you can think that way. If you can product development, you don't have to be the US product, and you can do a much cheaper product. Ideas are same. For example, why you have to buy SAP? SAP is good for like 100,000, 200,000 people. But if a company is 500,000 people, I can develop something like that. SAP is not a big deal. I can do a product like that. So similarly, there are lots of things you can think of it, which are much smaller, and get it done. In a mobile business, people are doing it. Some of the smartphone which you can find it, they're 5,000, 10,000 rupees smartphone. They're pretty good. They can do the job. Or iPad, a pad, or desktop. Similarly, other products can be done that way also. But you have to protect the IP. Other people are reluctant to your R&D will grow. The only way can R&D grow, and because the way the R&D grew in MIT spent lots of time on R&D. They're funded by the industries. The students, the professors, they get active role to play with the industry. So they know what the technology going on. Here, if there is no connection there, then industry may think of something, or university may think of something. They have nothing to do with the actual product. There has to be some ties there. That environment has to be established. And then, of course, people, and of course, a good professor, an R&D professor, the professor in the US, a good professor, they can make a $250,000, $300,000 salary easily. Give a lecture, consulting, and everything else. They're the best. We have to pay that amount of money to do that also, to get the best people. Otherwise, you stuck with the people in the universities who doesn't want to do any work. I've seen some people say, I want to work in universities, or teach in the university, because I don't want to put more than 10 hours, 4 hours a day or 5 hours a day. So you need a different people, different mentality.